Hi everyone, I'm Eric Brooks with Alpine Electronics, and today we're going to take an inside look at a brand new product from Alpine called OTIM8. This is our DSP OEM processor. It has a wide range of features, but what's really cool about it is the fact that you can tune your system automatically within 5 minutes. So let's check it out. So the OTIM8 processor has a ton of features within it. It has multiple inputs, so you can tie in a factory head unit to this and use your OEM system. You can tie an aftermarket head unit into this. You can have digital inputs like USB and digital coax inputs. It also has Bluetooth streaming capability, so you can stream Bluetooth directly to this. It's a high-resolution device, so it does high-resolution processing, and it has a high-resolution amplifier built in. This thing has amplifier channels of 50 watts by 6 and 150 watts by 2 at 4 ohm and 300 by 2 at 2 ohm. So this has the capability of running an entire system in your vehicle, and you can set it up exactly how you need for your car. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about some of the features that it has within it, and then we're actually going to go in and set this thing up so you can see how it operates and what benefits it gives you for your car. So again, we talked about the power, so it has the capability of running many different configurations of power, of amplification within the chassis itself, but it also has 8 channels of preamp outputs. So if you want to run external amps, you can do that too. It has the capability to use crossover, so it protects your speakers. It tells what sound to go to what speaker. It has time correction built in, so you can create that center image for the driver like you can with many other DSPs. It has 31 bands of parametric equalization that you can manually tune. If you want to use your tools for tuning like RTAs and things like that, you can do that within this. But really what makes this so special is the fact that it can auto-tune your vehicle. So you go in and you set up what type of system you have, right? If you're using an OEM system, if you're using an aftermarket head unit, if you're using your optical ins or your Bluetooth inputs, you go in and set up all of those sources. So you tell the system what it has coming in, and then you tell it what type of system is coming out, right? So what type of speaker configuration you have, if you're using subwoofers or mid-range or mid-bass or tweeters, whatever it is, you can set that up very easily within the system. From there, you go in and you protect the system. You turn on crossovers. Crossovers basically tell what sound to go to what speaker. So we set this up so that it's playing the right sound out of each channel. So once you have that all configured, you can then go in and do the auto sound setup, right? Which is a very fast way to easily tune your vehicle, and it's all done within 5 minutes. So what you do with this, there's 2 ways to do it. We have a PC app, and we sell a microphone kit that goes with it. You basically can use that. Or if you have an iPhone 10 or newer, you can actually use an iPhone app and set this thing up through the app. So what happens is you go in, you start the process, you have the entire system configured, and then you start the auto-tune sequence. What happens is it plays a series of sweeps, and it tells you how to get the unit into the range so that the microphone's picking up the information properly. Once it's picking that up, you then begin to sweep the car with the microphone. So you take the microphone, you go left to right, top to bottom, right, all the way across the vehicle. You reach all the way up into the dash, you go under the dash. Basically what we're trying to do is get a 3D picture of the audio signal in the vehicle, right? So we're going to measure and analyze the entire front portion of the sound environment. And what it does, it then averages all of this information. It takes up to 200 samples of these sweeps, and it averages this information so that it can fix the acoustics in the vehicle. But not only does it fix the acoustics in the vehicle, it also fixes the phase. And what phasing issues give you are areas of sound that are canceling each other out, right? Maybe you have a door panel over your speaker and it's creating some type of issue. You have a center console, your steering wheel, the angle of the speakers in the car. These all create potential phasing issues, which this unit can correct automatically. So what it does, it analyzes the sound in the vehicle, and it corrects the acoustics, and it corrects the phase. It does it all automatically. So it takes all of these weird sounds that are being created within the car, and then it flattens it out. So we have a great base to start from. Then you can select what your target curve is, what kind of sound you want to have in your vehicle. Maybe you want more bass, maybe you want more mids, maybe you want more highs. You can adjust that all on the fly very easily. And as you make those adjustments, it corrects for the acoustics and the phase. So it's really a great way to give a fantastic sound in your vehicle. Now, the other benefit of correcting the acoustic and the phase, and the fact that it's 3D imaging the entire vehicle, what it does, it doesn't set up great sound just for the driver. It gives you the same listening experience whether you're in the driver's seat or in the passenger seat. Right? So we have the capability, if I had someone sit in my driver's seat and he's taller than me or shorter than me, he needs to move the seat forward or back, you're doing your gangster lean while you're driving. All of that doesn't matter because it's averaging the vehicle. It's not tuning to a point where your head would be in the driver's seat, right? So that's a great benefit. Now, when you toggle this thing from on to off, you can notice a demonstrable difference in your vehicle. Number one, you'll hear a really focused bass come into alignment. You'll hear the image come up onto your dash. You'll have a sound stage that's nice and wide in front of you. So it sounds like there's a concert happening right there in your car, right? So those are the benefits when it's on. When you turn it off, all of that decays. Your image collapses. The bass becomes more muddy, right? And less focused. So these are the things that this processor can actually fix in your vehicle very, very quickly. Now, if we wanted to have a system set up so that if I'm driving the car by myself and I want that pinpoint center image, this has time correction built in. So you can set that up and give the driver that pinpoint image and save it as a preset, right? If I have multiple people in the car and I want everyone to have a great sound experience, I can have another preset set for that, where there's no time correction, but that great image on the dash for everyone in the vehicle. The other thing that allows you to do is set different presets for different types of music you're listening to. Maybe you want a preset that gives you more bass. Maybe you want a preset that gives you more highs. You have 6 presets that you can set up in this. You can set it up with different time correction solutions. You can set it up with different EQ curves, all that you select yourself for your personal vehicle. So those are all the things that this thing can do. What we're going to do is we're going to go in, I'm going to break out the laptop. We're going to show you how to set this up. It's very easy to set up, but we're going to show you how that works, and then we're going to go through the process so you see exactly how to do this. So let me get set up, and then we'll join you back here in a second. Okay, so we've gone ahead and connected our laptop to our OTIM8 processor, and this is where we're going to go in and do our initial setup. So for this illustration, we're going to build a hypothetical system and a hypothetical car, okay? And for this, we're going to use an OEM head unit, right? So what we're going to do first thing is we're going to go ahead and turn on the connection to the processor itself. So we're going to go up and click the power button. It's going to say data processing. It'll do that for a few seconds, and then we will be live. So again, we're going to use an OEM head unit. And what we're going to do is we're going to tell it what type of inputs we're going to use. So we go in here to input mode selection, and let's figure out what type of factory sound system we have. We're going to do a little more challenging of a vehicle for this illustration. We're going to use a discrete amplifier system. So it has tweeter channels and mid-range channels and subwoofer channels, and we have to combine all those to get a full range signal. And that's listed here in this wizard. So if we go across, we'll find, let's see here. Here we go. Here's a 6-channel input, front 2-way and rear. All right, so we're going to click on that, and we're good to go. We'll hit next. Okay. Enter, and now we're good to go. So now we know what type of inputs are coming into the vehicle. Now we're going to do our output mode selection. So we'll click on that wizard. We're going to develop a pretty nice system for this vehicle. We're going to put R Series Pro components in the front 2-way. So we'll have a 6.5-inch mid-range and a tweeter up in the dash. Maybe we'll do S Series coax in the back, and then a couple of subs in the trunk. So Let's see if we can find that configuration. So it's going to be an 8-channel configuration, front 2-way, rear, plus left and R sub. So here we go. Here it is right here. So we click on that, we hit enter, and now our system is configured. So at the bottom of the page, you'll see all these crossover settings, right? And all the channel settings. So what a crossover does basically is tell what sound to go to what speaker, right? A tweeter shouldn't be playing the same sounds as a subwoofer, right? So this just directs the sound to the proper speakers. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in and customize these setups for each channel. And there's a couple of different ways to do it. First off, I'm going to show you the harder way, right? So we can go in, we'll find channel 1. It's listed as front left tweeter here. And we're going to do a high pass crossover on that. And we're just going to pick a number. Again, this is hypothetical. We'll call it 3,500 hertz, okay? And we're going to select the crossover slope at 24 dB. Now, 3,500 hertz is a pretty high frequency. That's going to play tweeter sounds, you know, the cymbals, all that stuff. And 24 dB per octave is a relatively sharp cutoff, right? So it's not gonna roll off real slow. It's gonna be pretty tight control. So 6 dB is a slower roll off, and this goes out to 38 dB, so it's a very sharp cutoff. So we're gonna go with 24 dB. So that's that, so we're gonna do a high pass crossover. Now, let's go to channel 2. Channel 2, same thing. It lists as front right tweeter here. We're gonna go 3,500 hertz. We're going to do 24 dB per octave, and now our front right tweeter set. Now let's go to channel 3, and I'm going to show you a little trick here. So channel 3 is going to be a bandpass. This is our mid-range, right? So we don't want it playing really deep bass, and we don't want it to play tweeter information, so it's called a bandpass. So we're going to cut the low frequencies out, so we're going to protect this, and we're going to say, since it's an R series, it plays pretty low, so we're going to cut it off at 76 hertz, and we're going to do 24 dB per octave. That's the high pass filter. The low pass filter, we want to cut all of those tweeter sounds out, so we're going to bring that up to where we put our tweeter crossover at 3,500 hertz, and again, 24 dB per octave. Now, remember, this is all hypothetical, okay? So as you set up your system, you may find better crossover points for yourself, but I want to show you a cool thing here. If you hit sync, you can go copy EQ from left to right, hit OK, and now our channel 4, which is our front right woofer, is already set up. It's set up exactly like we set the left. And then we go on down, we can go to our rear speakers. Again, this is an S-series coax, so we're not going to want to play deep bass out of here. So maybe we'll cut that off at, let's say, 80 hertz. So we'll go 80 hertz. We'll do 20 dB per octave. Right? And we're not going to use a low pass filter. We want this to play all of the high end frequencies, right? This is our rear fill. So there's that. Now, channel 6 should be, and it is, already set up for us. Okay? Now let's do our subs, channel 7 and channel 8. So we can do something called a subsonic filter on here using a high pass crossover at a very, very low frequency. So we're not wasting energy on music that's below what we can hear. So you can set it up like that if you choose. I'm going to leave that off, but we're going to set our low pass filter at about 80 hertz, right? So this is only going to play subwoofer information, deep bass information, and we're going to do it at 24 dB per octave, okay? Now, channel 8, our right subwoofer, is already set. Okay, so that's how syncing channels works, right? So you can either do them individually or you can sync them together and do it a little quicker. All right, so now we've protected our speakers. We've told what input to go to what output. We've told what sound to go to what speaker. Now it's on to the next portion of the processor. So this processor has what's called an anti-EQ. All right, so when we go into the anti-EQ, what it does, you can actually see on the bottom of the screen, if we were connected to the vehicle, it would actually show you the sound that that head unit is producing, okay? Now, we have a 10-band EQ for that input. So if there's a peak or a valley somewhere in that sound range, we can cut or boost however needed. We can make these points very sharp. We can make them wider so they affect more sounds. And you can do that accordingly so that you get that sound as flat as possible on the input side. Now, if you're using an aftermarket head unit, it's not as critical. They're pretty clean coming out with no factory EQ curve. So you wouldn't need to worry about this as much if you're using an aftermarket head unit. But this is great if you're using an OEM sound system. All right, so I want to tell you a little bit about our manual EQ setup. Okay, so manual EQ, this thing has 31 bands of parametric EQ per channel. So just to kind of show you how this works, we'll go to one of the woofer channels. And if you have an RTA and you have the skill set to use that and to tune a vehicle, then you can go in, you can look at the sound on your RTA, and you can boost or cut as needed. You can change the Q as required, so you affect a very narrow area of sound or a wider area of sound as you choose or as needed in the vehicle. And you can do that across 31 points per channel. Okay, so that's how you would manually tune your EQ. You just go channel by channel, set it up as needed, and then you're good to go. Now, the next thing I want to show you is time correction. So Alpine, all of our processors have time correction. Our head units have time correction. I want to explain to you how our time correction works. So basically what you do is you find your furthest speaker. So for this illustration, our front right door is our furthest speaker, and that's what we want to time correct to because we want to have a center soundstage. So we have a tweeter in the dash, we have a mid-range in the door, we have a tweeter over here, and a mid-range in the door over here. Now, the passenger mid-range is going to be the furthest from us. So that's going to get 0 time correction. We're not going to slow that information down at all. The tweeter up in the dash, maybe it's a 6-inch difference from that mid-range to me and that tweeter to me. So we'll want to take this and slow it down 6 inches, right? So we'll keep clicking here until we get to 6 inches. Boom. 6 inches. So now the tweeter and the mid-range are in time alignment. That sound is going to hit me at the same time. Now the driver side, I'm sitting very close to the driver side. So this is going to need more delay. All right. So again, hypothetical, let's call it this door speaker on the driver's side. It may need 22 or 23 inches of delay, right? So we'll go ahead and we'll put it to 23. And what's cool about this is it shows us the milliseconds of delay, and it shows us a measurement in centimeters and in inches, okay? I'm kind of simple. It's easier for me to take a tape measure these out, and just plug in the inches, right? So we have 23 inches of delay on this mid-range, and let's say that we need a couple of additional inches of delay on this tweeter. So we'll go ahead, let's call it 26 inches. Okay, so now once you get this and you start playing music, you'll hear your image kind of take form. And then you can fine tune it once you're in and playing the system. So what's cool about this is you can actually take and group these together. So I can take this front door and this front dash speaker and I can create a group. And as I change one, it changes both. Right? And you can do that for the rears. You can do that for whatever group of speakers you want to do. So that's just another cool way to make it a little easier and a little more efficient in setting this up. All right. The next page I want to show you, really this was handled within the setup wizard. So this isn't something that you would need to do. But if you're if you like to get under the hood of the machine and do things yourself, this mixer page is what tells what input to go to what output. Okay, and that's where this is all done. So you can see on this page what we actually did in the setup wizard, right? So if you wanted to look at that, you can do it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go out to a vehicle and we're going to show you the auto sound tuning, right? We're going to show you how that works. I'm going to illustrate the way that you want to move the microphone in the vehicle, and we're going to talk about how you get a flat EQ curve, and then you can select your own target curve for your vehicle and set those presets. Once you get those targets set up and you want to set them as a preset, you can come back into your computer here, and on the EQ page at the bottom you will see EQ presets. Okay, so there's 5 preset EQ presets and then one that says custom. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go in, and we've set up this time correction here, right? Or we're gonna we'll just throw some time correction in here just for the illustration, right? So we'll say we've time corrected this, even though it's not real accurate, but just to give you an idea. So we're going to say save preset. We'll put this as 6. We'll call it with time correction. We'll hit OK. And now it shows up as a preset. Okay, so we can toggle through different presets that you've created for different sound tunes that you want, more bass, more treble, whatever. Or you can have one for time correction. So if you're in that driver's seat, no one else is in the car, you want that center image, that can be a preset for you, right? Other than that, you can have presets where everyone gets that great sound experience because of the capability of this Optim8. Remember, this thing uses a filter called VIR filters. It's a full bandwidth filter that is very precise. It's high resolution. So this thing can look at the sound coming in, create the opposite curve so we get a flat response. And that's what we're going to demonstrate us measuring in the vehicle. All right. So it takes 200 samples of the inside of the car as you make these sweeps. So as we do that, it will show a progress bar. When it's done, you can then create your own curve as you like and save those as presets. So I'm going to go ahead and break this down here. We're going to go out to the vehicle and check out how we sweep a car. Okay, so once you have your Optim8 installed in the vehicle, you've gone through the setup process like I showed you on the bench. Now you're ready to do the sound tuning process on this. And again, there's 2 ways to do this. You can either do the microphone kit that we sell, or you can use your iPhone 10 or newer device. We have an iPhone app that links directly to this, so you can do all of those measurements right here. So basically what you do is you open up the app, you go in to begin the process, and then you'll hear a series of sweeps beginning. Once those begin, you'll see a progress bar as you sweep the vehicle. So I'm going to go ahead and start that process and show you how this works. So let's hit proceed. Okay, there you have it. We've gotten full progress and we're ready to go. Now, what you'll notice on the screen is all of the corrections that this thing did. It shows you what the factory curve was that this system heard and what it did to correct those issues, both acoustic and phase. Then you'll see a yellow line. That yellow line is your target curve. So you can grab these points and you can adjust them as you want. If you want more bass, more treble, more mid, whatever you want for your system. You save those as a preset. You can add them in with that time correction we talked about. And now you have a great sounding system in your vehicle. So this Optim8 processor is a fantastic tool for building a great system, whether it be using an OEM head unit or an aftermarket head unit. So I really appreciate you taking the time to learn more about the Optim8 processor today. And until we talk again, remember to always let the Alpine play.